I'm Temidayo Adeoye. I am a technical project manager. I'm currently work with FCMB and consult, for other startup companies as well. I'm also an honorary advisory member of the American Association of Project Managers, where I currently serve as well. So I think that's just a brief introduction about myself. So what inspired me to explore tech? Interesting. Very, very interesting story. So as far back as 2020, right? I think after the pandemic, I used to have a small business back then after school. I'm like, you know what? I want to have a small business and all of that. It was a baking business, and I was just starting out. Then COVID came, and trust me, as every other businesses as at that time, COVID swept everything off, and I thought to myself, what should I do? Right. I've never really been a techie person. I studied dramatic arts in school, so it was not my thing, and I didn't even know where to start from, right? And I think life situation inspired me, and I wanted to make money. I wanted to make the tech money that everybody was making. So let me be realistic, right? So yeah, that was what inspired me, and yeah, I just wanted a change entirely for my life. So that's what inspired me. So what challenges? Okay, the challenges I faced before joining Africa Agility. Oh, wow. So Africa Agility is tied to my story in my book that I released not so long. Probably I'll drop the link on this chat for anyone that is interested in the book. I spoke extensively of how Africa Agility played a major role for me. As at the time I took Africa Agility, it was still physical. So I think our course was the last physical course that we had in a hotel then, right? And I guess that was a turning point for me, because as at then I even took the front end and UI UX training, right? And meeting people, other aspiring ladies that also wanted to have a change in their life was just really inspiring. And the biggest thing happened after the training, right? But like now that I see that Africa Argentina has different trainings, like they have the Scrum, they have Scrum Master, they have Product Owner, they have other, other trainings and all of that. As at that time, it wasn't like that at all, right? So I remember jumping on or we had a call with Anu Gopal, and she said, do you know that Scrum Masters actually even make way, way, way more than a lot of front-end developers? But we that were shouting, wanted to be a developer, wanted to be a developer and all. I said, okay, what's this thing about? And when we were done, I think they gave us a free access to actually write the Scrum certification, which I almost never wrote. Right? Thank God I did. And I think UX for a while, I realized that nope, I'm not cut out for sitting for a long while trying to tweak pixels from pixels. I really wanted to do something different. And thankfully, my Scrum certification was just waiting right there in front of me to use as a stepping stone for me into the industry, right? Yeah. My experience during the boot camp, for me during the boot camp, as I said, it's been like, I think my boot camp was 2021, thereabouts. Yeah, am I correct? Yeah. So what's oh my goodness, was meeting a lot of ladies, awesome ladies. So I'm going to tell you something interesting that happened. During my training, I met a lot of females, great women that, we are still having good communication even up until now. And during my training, I had one very, very interesting idea. I said, you know what, why not, we start going to secondary schools and teach them what we learned. Right. I think I told some of my guys in Tamara, Precious, and they were IPing. They say, okay, come on, let's do this. Went some of the secondary schools and we trained people. We even had some hackathons with them, right? Interesting stuff back then. So key lessons are memorable moments. I think that's just that lesson, meeting great people, awesome people, right? Inspiring people. Our instructors then, David, and those guys were really, really great, inspiring. It was really a tough time, for me when I got started, because as I mentioned, 2020 was not that year for me. Like I was literally lost. There was really, really nowhere to turn to. So, Africa Agility offering that space to learn, that comfort to say, what, you just have to want to learn, right, and get what you want out of this. And yeah, go, make good things out of it. So yes, my growth and wins post boot camp. Wow, it's been beautiful. It's really, really been beautiful, I must say. From that time when I made up my mind to go into Scrum, I started out as a Scrum Master majorly. I'm still working as a Scrum Master anyways, despite the fact that I also like stay under the umbrella of the project manager, right? It's been awesome, right? Because the certifications I had from Scrum really helped me. They were like that door for me, right? Of course, it didn't stop there. I also had to do a lot of learning, a lot of questioning, a lot of meeting other people and all of that. But that foundation great, was great. So I've had so many great things that's happened, tripled, fourpled, whatever number you want to call it, my pay, right? Met great people, excellent people, worked in great organizations, right? As I mentioned, currently work in the bank. I've also worked with some, excellent organizations and all. So yeah, challenges I navigated, and what next for me? Interesting. Right? It's been one thing I know is, what brought you, or what kicked you off at the beginning is not what keeps you going, right? That was one of the things I had to learn the hard way, right? When you're starting out your career, there are some things you need, right, to do, right? However, growing in that career, like climbing the career ladder, is totally different, right? There needs to be something else you need to do at that point in time, which, that's part of the biggest challenges for me that I'm navigating to say, oh, now I've gotten to this milestone in my career, right? To get to the next milestone, what do I need to do, right? So what's next for me? Wow, big things. I should be releasing my second book very soon. So many awesome things, so many awesome things coming up for me, right? I've been able to also help a lot of women, a lot of people, get started in project management, start earning in six figures, even in project management and all of that. So people that are also doing excellently well. And sometimes I just look back and I'm like, wow, thanks to Africa Agility, thanks to the support when I started out, because whatever I am today, they actually created that foundation that I grew on, right? So a lot of big things next for me. April next year, I should be hosting a physical, what's it called, summit, a project management summit, right? That's come April next year, where support some other set of people, networking with other people, and all of that, right? So I should share an advice or encouragement for others navigating their journey. That's deep. Right. I would say that if I would so I'm going to say it like this, I would just like do a reverse to say, let me go back in time and say, I'm talking to myself. If I'd foreseen that this was going to be the story when I started, what would I have done, right? So let me assume I'm talking to my younger self. I would say, don't stop what you were doing, right? Confusion is part of the journey. I speak to a lot of young people these days, and they're like, oh, they're confused, da, 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 da. I said, see, the more you are confused, the more you should know you're actually making progress. If you're in your career and you're not confused, something is not right, because that confusion will lead you to look for clarity anyhow, anyway, whatever, right? So being confused is part of the journey, but don't stay confused, right? Go after clarity, go for clarity. Another thing I would say is, um, I'm going to be very careful with this word to say, don't be everywhere. I'm not saying be everywhere, but then be resilient. Like, I see people say, no, I'm looking for a job, I'm trying to break through, and you don't even apply to any job, right? Or you apply to one job per week, right? Or your LinkedIn looks so shabby, right? Or you are scared to show up somewhere, or you are scared to enter someone's DM to say, oh, what can I do for you? Or you are, whatever it is, right? Please show up and show up well. Like, show up on your, thank God for social media these days, right? Especially your LinkedIn, applying for jobs, be resilient, like go all out for it, right? And the last thing I would say to anyone navigating their journey is, if you, I think that's one of the lessons I was telling a mentee, a mentor, like, I'm sorry, a mentee recently. And I told her, I said, some of the mistakes a lot of us make when we started our career is we eat our seed too often, right? You got a job, maybe an intern job, they were paying you one particular money, and you feel like you've arrived, right? Wrongest mistake. Sometimes people get stuck. The fact that it's a tech role, it's a tech career, does not mean that you suddenly become big at it or you suddenly make a lot of money. I've seen a lot of tech people that are stuck on the same point and they are unable to progress because they think, oh, because it is tech, naturally they will just grow. No. So please don't eat your seed. What I mean by don't eat your seed is that I am what I am today, right? I still have a long way to go. It's not accidental, right? It's not accidental at all. I remember starting out for the first 1 year in my career, I was just going all out for myself. Like as I earn, I pour back into myself, right? Aside from the certification, I was able to write Africa Agility. I'd spent over $3,000, writing some other globally recognized certifications, right? So when you start out and you start making money, or maybe you start making small money, even if it's not big money. I remember my first tech job was paying me 50K, right? And out of that 50K, thank God Nigeria was even still a bit better then, right? I think I had some small side hustle that would just give me small money. And probably was just not something to write home about. I could have said, you know what, I wanted to do something. I was still saving that money. Like part of it, I still put out some amount to say I want to write this exam, I want to write this certification and all of that. And when I was able to save up, a percentage of the money, right? I remember speaking to a career coach. That's another thing. You should look at getting a career coach. I remember speaking to a career coach, and the person was like, go for your PMP, go for some of this certification. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Now that I'm supposed to be balling, right? I remember clearing my whole account to go for some of those things. And in less than 2, 3 months, right? What I probably used a whole year to save was what I started earning in a month, right? And somebody just sees that and think it's accidental. No, it's not accidental, right? So give back to yourself. Don't get too comfortable. Some of us get too comfortable. Is, oh, I should always get things for free. Africa Agility is giving me this for free, so that means everything has to be for free. No, right? Spend back on yourself. Is an investment that your future self would be glad, right? Like right now, I'm still going, pushing for myself. I finished my MBA this year. Definitely next year, I should be able to start my DBA, right? So just keep going all out for yourself. Your future self will be glad you made those sacrifices, right? Cut down on some of the things, especially when you're just starting out. Cut down on the excesses, right? Some of those things you think you need and it's so important, you need them for you to be able to feel good about yourself. You have it in abundance. Like it will not even cross your mind again when you begin to earn well, when you begin to when you begin to earn well and you're more comfortable.